All right, guys. Happy Tuesday. So our warm-up was all about, do we remember? And it looks like most of you do. Do you remember? Some of you were telling me yesterday, Mr. I don't remember. But it looks like a lot of you do. How do I graph a parabola? And the warm-up was in standard form. So we'll go over that right now. By the way, I don't know if you saw this, but yes, it has been exactly a year today. It was a Sunday morning when we heard the news, and I think all of us know where we were at when we heard the news about Kobe. That was the first horrible news. Well, nationally, some of us had some horrible news before that in January. But yeah, that's what kicked off in a horrible 2020 and what's looking like a horrible 2021 too. We can say there's some good things in 2021 too. We do have a new president. All right, so let's go over this. So if we look here, we need to graph, and this is in standard form. So what's the first thing we need to do? Well, if you look at the warm-up, I left this up here, parts of a parabola. So I put that there so you can remember. So the main part we need to see and we need to find is the vertex. Because if we find the vertex, we also find the axis of symmetry. And so how do we do that? How do we find the axis of symmetry, which gives us the x value of our vertex? Right. So if we want to find the vertex, we need to find the axis of symmetry, and there's a formula. And the formula is x equals negative b over 2a. Right? And so this is a, this is b, and this is c. So negative b would be negative 4 over 2 times a, and a is just a negative sign, but it's a negative 1. If you don't see a number there, negative 1. So we get positive 4 over negative 2. So my x is negative 2. So my axis of symmetry is negative 2. So if I go over here at negative 2, there's my axis of symmetry. There's my mirror, right? And so that means my vertex is somewhere on that axis. It's right in the middle. The vertex is always in the middle. The axis of symmetry is in the middle. Okay, so how do I figure out the y value where my vertex is? Well, I just get that x value and I plug it in. So y equals negative blank squared minus 4 blank minus 2, and the blank is the x we just found, which is negative 2. So we plug it in there and we get, now remember, squaring, I'm only squaring the x, so I'm only squaring the negative 2. This negative is separate. This negative is the coefficient of x squared. It's separate from the squared. So I'm only squaring negative 2, which is 4, positive 4, and then I bring down that negative. And then negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, or plus 8 minus 2. And so y equals negative 4 plus 8 is 4 minus 2, which is 2. So my vertex is negative 2. That's the x value. And we just found the y value, 2. So negative 2, 2. So it's right here. And I think most of you got that vertex. Now, if we look over here, we see the a value is negative. So that means my parabola is going to be facing down. And we have a down-facing parabola. So what can I do here? Well, as we've said before, step 1, find the vertex. Step 1, find the vertex. Step 2, find a point on either side of the axis of symmetry. Now, what's the easiest point to find? What's one of the easiest points to find where we don't have to put in any work? Sometimes finding this point works, sometimes finding this point doesn't. So what is that point that I usually say, this is the easiest point to find where you really don't have to do very much work? The y-intercept. Very good. Hold on, where is it? Oh, that's why. Hold on. Let's do this again. Yes, the y-intercept. There we go. It's the y-intercept. And how do we find the y-intercept? Well, y-intercept means x equals 0. So if x equals 0, that means this is 0 and this is 0. So my c is always my y-intercept. Remember that? My c is always my y-intercept. And y-intercept, x is 0, and what's left is negative 2. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 2. So that's awesome. 0, negative 2, which is right here. There's my y-intercept. And so that was step 2. So step 1 was find the vertex. Step 2 was find a point on any side of the axis of symmetry. And one of the easiest points to find is your y-intercept, because it requires 0 work. And what's step 3? So step 1, find the vertex. Step 2, find a point. Y-intercept would be the best one because no work. Step 3 is to find the reflected point. So if you look here, this is 2 units away from the mirror. So if I reflect it to the other side, that would also be 2 units away from the mirror. So it would be right here at -4, -2, and that's my reflected point. Right? That's why we find 1 point on either side, so we can reflect it, and 1 point gives us just a 2-for-1 deal. It's a BOGO. It's a BOGO. Buy one, get one free. So now we're done. We have 3 points. We just connect the dots. La, 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 la. And there you go. There's my parabola. Oh, is that it, mister? Is that it? That's all? I thought I forgot. That was so much more difficult. I forgot. No, it's that easy. It's that easy. And some of you are saying, I remember now, mister. Okay, this is bringing it all back to me. I know. Christmas break does that to us, right? We forget a lot of stuff. So much has been going, especially these times. We've been forgetting so much. All right. Any questions? Any questions? All right. So you want to try one on your own again? Now that you've seen this, you want to try another one to get in the groove to, no, not really, mister. Sorry, we're going to try another one. Okay. But before I do that, are there any questions? Are you sure? Now's the time to ask. Don't let that lizard brain stop you from asking. Right? If you're sitting there and like, I'm afraid to ask. Mister just said it's easy, but I'm afraid to ask. Don't be. Right? Dance with that, right? Dance with the fear. So if you are, okay, I just said don't be. That's the wrong attitude to give. Go ahead and be afraid. That's fine. Continue to be afraid if you want to. Embrace that fear. Dance with that fear. And take a little chance. Right? You dance with that fear, you take a little chance, and then you start leading the dance. Instead of the fear leading the dance, you lead the dance. And go ahead and send that question. Okay. I'm sorry I said don't be. Yes, if you're afraid, it's okay. It's natural. Okay, no questions? All right, let's try one more. Actually, let's add a page. There you go. Let's try one more. Now, I want you to graph y equals -3x squared minus 24x minus 42. Try that one. I'll give you, how's 7 minutes? How's 7 minutes sound? All right, 7 minutes now. There you go. All right, time is up. So let's identify our A, our B, and our C. Okay. So x equals -b over 2a, which equals negative blank over 2 blank. I always recommend doing this, putting blank, so that way you don't get your minuses confused with your negatives. And so my b is -24, so I put -24 right there. And my a is -3, so I put -3 there. So -24 is +24. 2 times -3 is -6, and 24 divided by -6 is -4. So my axis of symmetry, if I'm drawing a little sketch, that's horrible. Let's see. There we go. There's my y-axis. There's my x-axis. And -4, so I'm going to go, let's put some tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. So -4 is my axis of symmetry. X equals -4 is my axis of symmetry. So I will draw a vertical line there. That's my mirror. So now, that's not a perfect graph. The lines are perfect only because my app on here makes the line straight. So then negative 4. And then somewhere on that axis of symmetry is my vertex. So how do I figure that out? Well, I get my negative 4 and I plug it back in. Oh, mister, but the numbers are so big. Aha. Then get a handy dandy calculator. If you don't have a calculator, I have a few back here. If you want one, I'll go pass it out. Oh, wait. We're not in class. I'm sorry. Well, you have it on your phone. So y equals negative 3 blank squared minus 24 blank minus 42. And my x is negative 4, negative 4. And so now we say that's negative 3 times negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 24 times negative 4 is a positive. What's 24 times 4? Well, 24 times 2 is 48, and 48 times 2 is 96. Right? So plus 96 minus 42. So y equals negative 48 plus 96 minus 42. So y equals negative 48 plus 96 is what? It's positive 48 minus 42. So 48 minus 42, so y equals 6. So my vertex is x is negative 4 and y is 6. Okay, there's my vertex. So I go over here and I say negative 4, positive 6. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's about right there. There's my vertex. Now it's a negative 3, so it's going to be facing down. So that's good. That's my vertex. So now that's step 1. Step 1 is usually the longest step to find your vertex. Step 1. Okay. What's step 2? Step 2 is find a point on either side of this mirror, on either side of its axis of symmetry. And the easiest one to find is your y-intercept. But there's always a but, right? But my y-intercept is my c value, right? My y-intercept is 0, negative 42. And if I look on here, negative 42 is way down here, and I don't have it on my graph. So that's not a feasible point. So if I can't use my y-intercept, and that's why I chose this problem, if I can't choose a y-intercept, then what do I do? Mister, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Choose an x value that's very close to the mirror. So look at the mirror right here, right? This is negative 4, right? And that's negative 3, that's negative 2, that's negative 1, that's negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, 1, 2, 1. So there's my labels. But all I care about is this area right here, my x values. Well, the axis of symmetry is at x equals negative 4. Which one that's close to it? We can't reflect anything yet. Someone asked me, reflect? We can't reflect anything yet because we only have the vertex. We need a point on this side or this side so we can reflect. But we don't have a reflection point. We do, but the y-intercept would be way down here. We want to get something closer. So what we do is we go around the axis of symmetry, and we choose an x value that's close. So I'm going to choose this. I'm going to choose this, x equals negative 3. X equals negative 3. I'm going to choose that. And so I want to know where my point is. My point should be somewhere around here, right? But we don't know exactly where. How do we find out exactly where? We plug it in. So the equation is y equals negative 3x squared minus 24x minus 42. And I'm going to plug in x is negative 3. Okay. So y equals negative 3 blank squared minus 24 blank minus 42. Mister, why aren't you using the y-intercept? Not using the y-intercept because it's not on the graph. It's too far below the graph. I can't get it in this picture. I want to get something on this picture. So I'm choosing an x value that's close to my mirror, that's close to the axis of symmetry. So I choose x equals negative 3, and I'm going to plug that in to my equation. X equals negative 3. And then I'm going to find my y value. Okay, and that'll give me 1 point. Remember, the second step is get a point, any point on either side of the axis of symmetry. Y-intercept is the best one, but in this case, it's not going to work. It's too far down. So I got to choose another one. So I choose an x value that's close to the y, and that's why I'm plugging this in. And so now I get y equals negative 3, and negative 3 squared is 9, minus 24 times 3. Well, actually, negative times negative will give me positive. So plus 24 times 3 is 72 minus 42. Everyone good so far? Okay, so then I get y equals negative 3 times 9. What's negative 3 times 9? Negative 27 plus 72 minus 42. Well, negative 27 plus 72 is 45. So y equals 45 minus 42. And 45 minus 42 is 3. So this new point is my x was negative 3. My y is 3. So I found a point. Negative 3, 3. Right here. And so now I'm going to reflect that point. I'm going to the other side, and it's 1 away from the axis of symmetry. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. 1 away from the axis of symmetry, and it's right there. And there you go. There you have it. There's my parabola. Mister, yeah. Isn't there an easier way to graph this? Yes, I'm going to show you that right now. You can get a graphing calculator. You can type in the equation into the graphing part, and you can hit graph, and it'll graph it for you, right? That's another way to do it, using technology, right? But we don't always have technology with us. So this is one way to do it. Hold on, those of you that can't see it, right? You could do that. You could go and type in the equation into your graphing calculator and then hit the button that says graph right here. And then bam, there it is. Okay, that is a way to check your work, but you should be able to do it with technology and by hand. So this is how we do it. Any questions? Any questions? Go ahead and ask. I would usually say, don't be afraid to ask, but I'm not going to say those 3 words anymore. I'm not going to say don't be afraid. Why am I not going to say those words anymore? Because it's natural. It's human to be afraid. So go ahead and be afraid. Go ahead and be afraid, but dance with that fear and go ahead and ask anyway, right? You lead the dance. Go ahead and dance with the lizard brain, with your fear, but you lead the dance, right? You lead the dance. So are there any questions? All right. It looks like we're running out of time, so we're not going to have time. So tomorrow we'll talk about how to graph in vertex form. Remember vertex form? So maybe you might want to look at your notes about vertex form. We're going to talk about vertex form. This was standard form, how to graph in standard form. Vertex form is a little easier because it's called vertex form. And guess what you can instantly see once you see it in vertex form? What? What can you see? Somebody say it. If it's in vertex form, what can you instantly see? The vertex. Exactly. Good job. Exactly. The vertex. All right. So we'll talk about and review that tomorrow. And then we will start into our new unit. Our new unit's called polynomials. But before we go, one last time. I was gonna start an ASMR podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. First. Okay, next. Well, thank you for the encouragement. That's so funny. I'll think about it. I'm gonna run out of things to make noises with. Like, what else do I do? I don't know. I don't think I'm expert enough to do that. But anyway, thank you guys. Have a great day. There's no work tonight. We were just doing a little review. We'll do some review tomorrow, and we'll start on polynomials. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. You too.